Hi everybody, welcome back. On this video here, I want to show you how to write code based on conditions. We're going to help JavaScript make different decisions based on the conditions. All right, so let's go ahead and open up your JavaScript folder and open up your code editor, and we are going to do a save as on that blank.html. If you don't have that, if you don't have this file, don't worry about it. Just make one. Do a save as, and let's call it if statement. All right, this is going to be a little longer than the rest of the tutorials because I'm going to explain a couple things in here that I think we should cover. All right, so let's open this in the browser. And of course, mine is opening in another screen. All righty then. Let's make sure that we are on that specific file. There we go. And I'm gonna use variables here because you already know about variables and I want you to get some practice on it. So we are going to define a variable again, and we're going to call it number1. Actually, make sure that you write your script tags before, right? All right, you see, even I forget. So we define our variables, var, we create a variable named number1, and then we assign it a value, and I'm going to assign it a value of 5. All right, we're going to make another variable. I'm going to call it number2. I'm going to assign it a value of number 10. All right, so I'm going to start very simple here. So we have two variables there with two different values there. And I want to find out which variable here is actually bigger than which variable, right? Which variable is bigger here? So this is how we use if statements. This is the syntax right here. If, parentheses, right? We got an opening parenthesis, the closing one there, and curly brackets. And then I got my cursor right in the middle, and I'm going to press enter to bring down that curly bracket. And it really doesn't matter the space that you use in JavaScript. So don't worry about space. You can use whatever space you want. Even here, you can put whatever space you want. All right. So I want to find out if number1 is smaller than number2. Now you might be saying, hey, wait, Edwin, where are you going? I don't understand what you wrote right here. Well, hang with me there. I'm going to explain to you once I finish showing you what this does. All right. And these are called conditional operators, and I'm gonna explain to you every little detail about them. But anyway, just know that if this is testing a condition right here. So it's saying right now is number1. If number1 is less than number2, I want you to do something here. And what we're gonna do is something. I'm gonna write something here. I'm gonna refresh, and it just wrote something. Because the condition is true. This will not execute this code. This will not, if this is not true, this condition here, this test, you will never see a code come up. So if I make this number bigger than this number, than number2, number1, it's going to be false right here. This test is going to be false, and this is not going to run. All right? It will never run. All right, so this is how you test the conditions there. But now let me just go ahead and explain to you this before we jump into another operators. These are called conditional operators, meaning that you can use it for conditions. So we use this one here, 2 equal signs or 3 equal signs, which is a strict version of the 2. And you know, this is the way it is. This one is actually, this means if these two numbers are the same. So if I put these 2 equal signs in there, I'm saying if number1 is equal to number2, write something, right? Now this one is actually stronger, and this is what the one that I suggest if you want to compare two different values. If you want to compare if values are the same, exactly the same. This one means they are the same. This one means they are exactly the same. All right? More about that in a couple minutes. All right, but now this is another one here. This is called the less than operator. All right, and this you can use your left hand if you want to remember that left is always less, and you can use the greater than operator by using your right hand. This is how I remember, and I can just put my fingers like that, and I know that that's greater than. All right, there's another one called not equal to right here, like this or like this. This is the actually not equal to, like the stronger version of it. All right. So these are the some of the conditional operators there that you could use. Right now, let's use the equality one. All right. So we're gonna say if number one is equal to number two, print something out. It's not. Let's make it equal. Refresh, and now it executes. As you can see here, this will only execute if it's true. Now let's use that not equal to. Let's use this. Refresh. They are exactly equal, so that's why they are not. Um, this is not executing. But let's make it like this. Look at this, and I'm gonna explain to you what I'm doing. Refresh. And why is it executing? Because they're not equal to. Even though this value here is a 20 and this is a 20, they're not exactly equal. Why? Because apostrophes, when you put apostrophes around the value, they become strings. They become texts, right? So I will explain to you about data types in a later on tutorial. But anyway, just keep that in mind. They're not exactly the same anymore. They would be exactly the same if they were the same exact value. All right. So if I go ahead and save and refresh, right there, refresh right there, they are exactly the same now. All right. So we know that. All right. So now there comes times when you need to provide a little bit more than just a test for the truth. We want to see if it's not true, then what else can we do? Right? In a programs, what else can we do? And that's when you use an else statement. So you write the keyword else, you put the curly brackets, and then you divide it. And this is where you will put your code. Here, else statement. All right. So if number one and number two are not equal, I want you to go to the next line, because this is not going to execute if it's not true. It will go to the else statement. So let's make sure that they are not true. Refresh, and this is going to the else statement. Else statement is basically a backup just in case this condition is not true. Right now we are testing for these values here in these variables. They carry the values right here. All right. Now there is another condition that I wanted to talk to you about. Don't go anywhere yet. And I tell you, this video was going to be a little longer than the rest because I want to cover this here. Let's put this down here because we're going to use this as default just in case these conditions are not true. There is one called else if. All right. And the else if is just another if statement. All right. To test a second condition. And this else if only can be used after the if statement. All right. And then we put a parenthesis because we are going to be testing for something else too. Now, keep in mind that the else statement, we don't test for anything. This is just a default false. So if everything else is false, then it's going to fall into the else statement because we're not checking for anything else. We don't have a parenthesis here to check for any values. On the else if, we do have something and we can check. So for example, let's say I have two more variables and there are 3 and variable 4, and they have different values in there. Let's say 100 and 50. So I want to check if number 3 is smaller than number 4. And then I can just execute that code right here. All right. So look, the first one. So we have the first condition. We're checking to see if number 1 is equal to number 2, and they're not. So that's not going to execute. This is not going to come on the screen. It's going to jump to the next one because everything starts from the top to the bottom. All right. And I start this else if after the curly brackets of this if statement, which is right here. So and then I'm going to test for another condition. Else if number 3 is less than number 4, I want you to execute this. Is number 3 less than number 4? Yes, it is. So this is going to execute. And then it's not going to go down and execute the else statement. It doesn't need to anymore. It already found what it needs. So we're going to execute. This is the else if statement. All right, so that way you can see it. Refresh, and as you can see, that one's the only one executing there. And if this one was false, and we make this one false by putting the number up to 700, we're gonna refresh, and we're gonna see that else statement is the default one if everything else is false. So we got three things that we use here to test conditions. Two, if and the else if, and everything else is default. Hopefully you understood this chapter. If not, please go back and rewind it. This is very important that you understand it, since you're going to be using this a lot when you are programming. All right. Another thing that I want to show you is, before you leave, is how to put comments. All right. Right here you have a variable here, and if you want to make this not, you don't want to make this, you want to make a comment for this variable, and you want to say something, and it's a very good practice to do when you're programming, is to make a comment for your variable. You put forward slash twice, and then you can write a one line comment on it. But if you click this, it doesn't work because it's only for one line. So the forward slash is to comment, and this will not get printed out on the screen. If I save it and go back here, I get the code, I don't get anything else. But if for some reason I go below that and I write something down and I save it and come back here, my code is not going to run. Right? Because I have a mistake here. I went to another line. This only works in one line. If I want to make a comment for multiple lines, I use a forward slash asterisk like this. And as you can see, so powerful that it just commented everything down below. So forward slash asterisk, but we need to close it before we get all the way down. And we close it with another asterisk and another forward slash to close it. All right. So you will have a multiple line comment right here. Let's take that off. One line comment. I'm going to leave this in the exercise files, by the way. One line comment. Actually, multiple lines comment. This is a multiple one. And this will be, oops, one line comment. All right. This is very important for you to know. I'm gonna leave this there, so don't worry. All this code is gonna be in your course exercise files. All right. So anyway, I don't think I need to cover anything else here. If I do, I would probably make another video about it. But I think we're covering enough for the if statements. Again, if you're confused, just make a discussion, and I'll show you how to do that at the end of this course. How to make discussions if you don't know how to do that, and I can give you some more code, and I can show you if you are confused. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.